Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want to start with a question that might make you a little uncomfortable, but that's exactly why you need to hear it. When was the last time you felt truly in control of your desires, not ruled by them? If you're a man who's older, maybe in your 30s, 40s, 50s or beyond, and you still find yourself turning to self-pleasure out of habit, loneliness or stress, this message is going to hit deep. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't about guilt. It's about what that quiet routine might be, silently stealing from you. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. It truly helps this channel grow and allows me to reach more men like you who want to understand themselves on a deeper level. Now, I want you to picture something. You're sitting alone late at night. The world's quiet. You open your phone or laptop and scroll through something you've seen 1,000 times before. You tell yourself it's harmless, just release, just habit. But afterward, you feel it. That subtle emptiness, that small drain of energy you can't explain. You close the screen, but something inside you feels a bit smaller. What if I told you that repeated moment of just release is not as harmless as it seems? That over time, it begins to rewire the very chemistry of how you experience motivation, attraction, and connection. You see, dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, was never meant to be flooded in isolation. When it happens artificially, without genuine emotional or physical intimacy, the brain starts to adapt. It begins to crave stimulation, but not connection, pleasure, but not purpose. And this is where many men begin to feel their drive fading, not just in bed, but in life. Their confidence dulls, their focus weakens. They find themselves more tired, more distracted, more anxious. They don't realize it's not just about lust. It's about energy, identity, and masculine power being slowly leaked away. It's not about judgment. It's about awareness. Because once you start to see what this quiet addiction is doing to your emotional core, you'll understand why so many men today feel lost. You'll understand that the habit isn't the enemy, the disconnection from self is. Stay with me, because what I'm about to explain next might just change the way you see your own mind forever. There's something you need to understand about the male brain. It was built to pursue, not to consume. Every time you achieve something real, a goal, a workout, a win at work, even an authentic connection with a woman, your brain rewards you with dopamine that reinforces purpose and progress. But when you replace that pursuit with instant isolated release, the brain still gives you dopamine, only now it's unearned. It's pleasure without meaning, reward without reality. And here's the trap. Your mind doesn't know the difference between working for satisfaction and faking it. The same dopamine surge that's supposed to drive your ambition becomes tied to a screen. Slowly, you lose the fire that made you ambitious in the first place. You stop chasing experiences that challenge you. You start chasing moments that numb you. You may not notice it right away, but your posture changes, your energy dulls. The way you look at women shifts from curiosity to craving, from appreciation to objectification. And deep down, you feel that something's off. You sense that you've lost that primal confidence that used to make you feel alive. That's not weakness, it's conditioning. You've been trained by repetition to feel temporary pleasure instead of lasting fulfillment. And this conditioning can't be broken by shame or guilt. It's broken by awareness, by realizing that your desire isn't bad. It's just been misdirected. See, when you release that energy through habit instead of purpose, your body feels like it's already achieved something it hasn't. You rob yourself of the hunger that drives creation, success, and attraction. That's why so many men today feel uninspired. They're drained, not from working too hard, but from rewarding themselves without earning it. You were designed to channel that same energy into building your body, your mind, your legacy. When you waste it, you weaken your ability to fight, focus, and feel deeply. But when you master it, when you learn to redirect it, you become something very few men in this world are anymore, centered. Because that raw masculine force you've been giving away isn't meant to disappear. It's meant to be transformed into purpose, into clarity, into power. And when you start doing that, when you reclaim that energy, everything about you changes. Your confidence, your voice, even the way people look at you. It's like your presence sharpens. You stop seeking approval and start radiating strength. That's when women start noticing. Not because you're chasing them, but because you've become the man they can feel. Let's talk about something most men never admit out loud: the loneliness behind the habit. Because for many, it's not just about desire, it's about escape. The quiet comfort of control. You don't have to risk rejection, vulnerability, or connection. You can have the illusion of intimacy without ever being seen. But here's the truth. Every time you choose the illusion over the risk, you train your nervous system to fear real connection. You teach your body that closeness equals danger and fantasy equals safety. That's why so many men today feel anxious around real women. Their brains are wired to find pleasure in control, not connection. So when faced with real emotion, eye contact, laughter, unpredictability, they freeze, shut down, or retreat. It's not that they've lost attraction. They've lost capacity. They've been numbing the very part of their spirit that thrives on genuine human contact. And over time, that loneliness deepens. It's subtle. You might not even notice it at first. You start preferring isolation. You stop initiating. You tell yourself you're just focused, independent, or not interested in relationships. But deep down, you miss being seen. You miss being desired by someone who actually knows you. You just don't know how to get back there anymore. That's what this cycle steals from men. Not just energy, but intimacy. You stop showing up emotionally because you've convinced yourself you don't need anyone. But inside, the craving remains, not just for release, but for connection. For a woman's warmth, her scent, her touch, her eyes lighting up when she looks at you with trust. That's what your mind and body were built for. Not pixels, but presence. When you step away from the screen and begin to reconnect with reality, something powerful happens. You start noticing life again, the smell of rain, the way your heart beats when someone smiles at you, the tension of wanting something real, not instant, not perfect, but real. That's when your masculinity reawakens, not as dominance, but as depth. You realize that true strength isn't in suppressing desire, it's in mastering it. Because the man who can master his impulses doesn't lose his power. He amplifies it. He becomes unpredictable, magnetic, alive. And that's the man the world still needs. The one who feels deeply, yet stands grounded. The one who turns loneliness into purpose. When a man begins to reclaim his energy, everything shifts, but not instantly. There's a storm first. The mind rebels, the body craves, and the ego whispers, "Just one more time won't hurt." That's the test. Because you're not just fighting a habit, you're undoing years of conditioning. You're rewiring your nervous system to find reward in reality again. And that takes courage. See, what happens in those first few weeks of abstaining isn't punishment. It's detox. Your dopamine levels begin to recalibrate. You start to feel restless, maybe even irritable or unfocused. That's your brain learning how to operate without the constant artificial spikes. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is growth. You're breaking chains most men don't even realize they wear. But something beautiful begins to happen after that. Your focus sharpens. Your voice deepens. Not just physically, but energetically. You start holding eye contact longer. You speak slower, with intention. People can feel the difference before you even say a word. Because energy never lies. Women especially can sense it. They might not know why, but they feel drawn to the man who isn't desperate for attention, who isn't leaking his energy into fantasy. You start to feel grounded, like you carry your own gravity. And it's not about arrogance or control, it's quiet strength. The kind that comes from discipline and awareness. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing empty pleasure, real pleasure finds you. Opportunities open, creativity returns. You begin to feel inspiration again, not because you forced it, but because you stopped numbing it. The same energy that used to drain you now fuels you. This isn't about becoming celibate forever. It's about becoming conscious, choosing when and how you release your energy, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Doing it from connection, not compulsion. That's when self-control turns into self-respect. You begin to feel proud of yourself again. Not because of what you resist, but because of what you now attract: real intimacy, authentic success, and a sense of purpose that no temporary pleasure can replace. You don't need to escape anymore. You're not running from yourself. You're finally meeting yourself. And that man, that version of you, is rare, powerful, present. He's the man who doesn't just survive temptation, he transforms it into fuel. There's something magnetic about a man who's mastered his energy. He doesn't have to prove himself, doesn't have to show off, doesn't have to chase. His very presence commands attention because it carries a rare signal: control. And control doesn't mean suppression, it means direction. It's the art of turning desire into discipline and discipline into dominance over one's own life. You start noticing how much time you wasted before, not just the minutes, but the mental space, the scrolling, the fantasy loops, the post-release fog that made everything feel muted. Now, that time returns to you. You wake up sharper, your mornings feel lighter, you walk differently, with a quiet assurance that you don't need to hide from your own reflection anymore. That's when confidence becomes natural, not loud, not forced, earned. You begin to speak from your chest, not your throat. Your words carry weight because they come from alignment, not need. You start attracting people, friends, partners, opportunities, who match your new energy, because energy attracts energy. And when yours is no longer drained by habits that weaken you, it starts to rise. You might notice women looking at you longer, holding eye contact just a moment more. It's not because you've changed how you look. It's because you've changed what you radiate. They can sense depth, direction, and restraint, the markers of a man who knows himself. And yet, this transformation isn't just about attraction. It's about purpose. You start feeling drawn toward challenges again: physical, mental, emotional. The hunger returns, the desire to create, to lead, to contribute. That's your masculine energy reawakening, the life force that's been buried under quick comfort. But here's the key: never think of this as punishment. This is power training. You're building the capacity to hold tension, emotional, physical, sexual, without breaking. That's what gives you presence. That's what separates men who react from men who lead. And when you learn to hold that energy instead of wasting it, life starts responding to you differently. People listen more. Opportunities appear where there were none. You start living with intention, not impulse. You realize you were never addicted to the act. You were addicted to avoiding yourself, but now you've turned to face that mirror. And for the first time, the man staring back isn't ashamed. He's awake. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is ready to change, truly change. You're not just curious, you're aware. And awareness is where all transformation begins. Because now you can't unknow what you've heard. You can't go back to thinking that what you do in private has no impact on who you become in public. You've seen how one small habit can quietly shape your mind, your confidence, your relationships, your future. But here's the most powerful truth: you are not broken. You are simply disconnected from your own power, your own passion, your own depth. And that can be restored every time you choose awareness over impulse, connection over escape, strength over comfort. You rebuild your masculine identity brick by brick. You start realizing that the discipline you apply here, in your most private moments, echoes into every other part of your life. Your focus improves, your patience grows, your standards rise. You stop chasing women who drain you and start attracting women who challenge and inspire you, because you've learned the difference between lust and respect, between stimulation and connection, between emptiness and depth. And that's when you finally understand this was never about quitting something. It was about becoming someone. The kind of man who doesn't numb his emotions, but channels them into purpose. The kind who doesn't beg for validation because he's already found his value. The kind who doesn't run from his urges, but learns to ride them like waves. Steady, strong, aware. You become the man who women feel safe around and other men quietly admire. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present, grounded, real. So if this message hits you, if something in your chest feels alive again, don't ignore it. That's your inner compass pointing home. Follow it. And as you do, I want you to remember this: the world doesn't need more men who seek comfort. It needs men who seek clarity, men who know how to face themselves and still stand tall. Thank you for watching. If this video spoke to you, take a second to like, subscribe, and share this message with another man who might need it today. Because you never know, your choice to rise could be the spark that wakes another man up. Stay strong, stay aware, and never forget, your energy is your power. Guard it well. Would you like me to